Is this the future of the WordPress site editor? What you're looking at now is a vision of how the site editor could be redesigned around what users want to do rather than how WordPress itself is structured and built. I'm Dave Smith, a long-time WordPress core contributor and employee at Automattic. And my colleague Francisco Vera and I have spent the last month of Radical Speed Month building this iterative prototype. Radical Speed Month is an Automattic initiative where all employees were asked to form two-person teams and given full autonomy to build and ship without the usual approval layers. And Francisco and I, as passionate believers in WordPress, decided to try and fix the site editor and answer the question that how would the editor look if it was built around user goals. So let's have a look around the prototype and understand what this is. First of all, this has no backing from Automattic. It hasn't got Matt's approval. It's not going to land in WordPress core anytime soon. It's really just our vision, and it's to start a conversation around how we can improve the UI of the site editor. So this is going to be a real whistle-stop tour, but one thing to keep in mind here is that everything is built with WordPress components, and we're also keeping WordPress standard APIs and architecture in mind as we build. So nothing here is intentionally requiring new APIs to be created or to redesign WordPress in any fundamental way. It's very much changing the way the UI is presented. But because it is using standard WordPress components, that shouldn't be that difficult to achieve. So the first thing that we notice here is that we have a big preview area. We are leaning into the concept of having a site preview within the editor so you can quickly orientate yourself and move around your site without restriction. You can drop into any page immediately to start editing it, and we are very much section focused by default for pages because users use the noun sections. So sections are added here like this, and you can add them from the sidebar quite easily. When you exit, your changes are bundled up into a save action here, and then you can click save and save in bulk when you're ready. Now, we are avoiding the idea of latest posts on your homepage. We're going to lean to the idea that WordPress will automatically create your homepage and set it as a static homepage. You can also explore the idea of latest posts on home. And the cool thing is that if you go to home, it will always show you what's on the front of your site. And then let's take a look at pages. Pages is a grid of all your pages displayed visually. It will turn into a table if you've got lots of posts. If we go to add a new page, we get given immediately a choice of choosing a layout or starting from scratch. We anticipate most people will choose a layout. When you select one of these layouts, by the way, these layouts are coming from full page patterns. These are mocking the ones that come from 2025 theme. You choose one, for example, I want to build a business homepage, and then you create the page and it would insert that directly. We are leaning into the idea of a very, very simple default page template, which would be effectively your header, a main content block, post content block, and a footer, so as to basically not require users to understand the idea of there being a page template, because we don't think that's very helpful. Beyond pages, we also have content. This is a big change to bring in all post types within the editor. I know this is technically complex and it comes with lots of other challenges around plugins, but it's something that I think we need to do because, let's face it, these post types are content. It also provides a way for the editor to scale without polluting this sidebar here. You notice that these items do not end up in the root navigation. But any post type that's registered as public will appear here. So products, I can see all my product data. Events would be exactly the same. And of course, we've got post here. The cool thing is that if we go to, let's say, products, for example, we also find under here are layouts for these products. So I have the layout for single and the layout for listing. We are only showing these two intentionally, and this is to provide an abstraction layer or an obfuscation of the template hierarchy, which is a very, very complicated concept and not something that we think users need to know. So we show only the two most key important templates there. But there is a hint here that there is more power behind the curtain that you can discover by going to all templates. But the key is that we're showing these layouts in the context of the content. The next thing to look at is navigation menus. We're now going to have WordPress create a navigation menu by default for you when you start your site, so you're never left with a no menu situation. You also don't have to have the weird concept of a page list, which causes a lot of confusion. If you click in, you do all your editing in this tree view. It's very easy to add new items. We show you this full size modal, and you can just select the ones you want and then add them on bulk. It makes it much faster than the current workflow of adding them individually via the block. You also lean heavily here into the classic menus experience where all content types are shown, and you just select what you want to add and then bulk add it to the menu. This is a largely preferable experience to what we have today in the navigation block. Design is probably the least evolved of the screens that we've got here. I need to refresh. There's a bug here. It's the least evolved of the screens, and it looks very similar to what we have today, and I think we can do more work. But essentially, we're leaning into only showing you the theme style variations and ability to change fonts, because we think that's the most important things that users want to do. Aside from this, you can change your site identity in the top here, and we provide a very quick and easy and obvious route back to WP admin by clicking on that right there. The cool thing is that if you are a more experienced user, you can still find all these screens for patterns, template parts and templates behind this advanced menu toggle. This is because these screens are important, but we do not want to foist them on users, especially beginner ones, from the start, because they are technical concepts that you don't need to understand really to just build out a simple page. So we've hidden them behind this thing. But it does hint at another idea we had, which is called Workspaces. Now you can imagine you've picked the developer workspace or the theme author workspace. WordPress is then pre-configured in such a way as to show these items at the root level menu. So you then would have access to these directly. And as you've seen here, you can actually choose as a user at any point to customize what items are shown in the menu by default, entirely using this configuration mechanic. So this has been a whistle-stop tour of the prototype we built, but I've really only skimmed the surface, and I would encourage you to check out the demo, and the link for that is going to be down below in the comments below this video. We're really looking forward to getting some feedback on this. It is far from perfect, we recognize that, but hopefully it starts and sparks a conversation, and maybe it's interesting to you. So we very much look forward to receiving your feedback, and we hope you can get some value from reviewing the work that we've done. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.